This plugin turns any sound into my great uncle's violin, and here's what it sounds like. It's cheesy and it sounds fake, but I like that. I don't think anybody would say a fake violin is better at being a violin than a real violin, but I also don't think a real violin is very good at being a fake violin. Like, when I listen to music from the SNES or N64 or 80s new wave music, I'm not thinking, man, I wish these were real instruments. Like, think about the 16-bit string sound in the castle theme from Mario 64. The same characteristics that make it sound cheesy are also the same characteristics that tie it to happy memories from my childhood. So now when another song uses a similar fake string sound, I think a little bit of my brain lights up that reminds me of the good times. It's not like a single memory, but like maybe a blend of memories and associations that mix together to make the positive emotions. I think these associations account for the majority of what we consider to be our taste in music. Sure, we can try to make sense of music by saying these chords provide tension and these ones provide release, and that's a great framework for understanding a lot of classical Western music, but I'm sure you can think of music you like that breaks those rules. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a song that you enjoy that doesn't interplay with your past associations, because that's just how your brain works, and that's why people say music is cultural. Think about this. You probably feel a certain way about modern pop country. Do you think that has something to do with the culture surrounding it? Anyway, I'm getting off track here. I'm just trying to say that real violins are great and fake violins are great. They just play different roles in music. Personally, I think my fake violin has a retro-futuristic sound, which fits nicely into my new album, Operaville. Retro because of the cheesy tone, but futuristic because it responds to dynamic playing, giving it this fake human or like android type quality. It can sound dynamic because it's essentially mapping an incoming pitch and volume to a particular note played on the violin at a particular volume, and it's doing that at a very granular level. I started by recording myself playing every note on the violin from soft to loud. Then I made an algorithm split up each note into a bunch of tiny chunks. Each chunk represents one cycle of the violin string going up, then down. So these are positive numbers, this is 0, and these are negative numbers. If I write out this waveform, maybe it would look like this. Positive numbers, then 0, then negative numbers, just like the wave. Now if I cycle through this over and over and output the sound, I'd get a constant tone. If I want it to be louder, I just multiply all the numbers by some other number. But if I control the volume in this way, I'm missing out on some of the richness of the dynamic playing. For real instruments, playing harder is not just a louder version of the quieter sound. It's a whole new waveform. Another way of saying this is playing a soft note on the piano and increasing the volume does not sound like the same thing as slamming down on that piano key. That's why I played every note on the violin from quiet to loud. I wanted to capture what it sounds like to play at different volumes. Let's say this grid represents the lowest G sharp on a violin. Now if I request that the G sharp be played with medium intensity, my plugin will cycle through this waveform and output the sound. But actually, my plugin is continually taking requests, so let's say I very quickly go from playing a quiet note to a loud note, so quickly that the volume changes within one vibration of the string. That means instead of cycling through one waveform like this, I'm going to want to freely move between waveforms like this. The key is when I'm between samples, all I have to do is take the average of all the closest samples. That's called interpolation. So now I can smoothly glide from loud samples to quiet samples. Now we just need to do the same thing for pitch. Because, like volume, the timbre of an acoustic instrument also changes with pitch. Another way of saying that is like a high note on a piano that you've pitch shifted down does not sound the same as a low note on the piano. But we prepared for that. Remember, I recorded every note at every volume, so I should be able to make one of these grids for every note. Then I just stack them on top of each other from lowest to highest pitch. And now I can continuously slide and pitch using the same interpolation technique I used with volume. So to put it all together, this plugin measures the volume and pitch of whatever sound we put into it, and then maps that to a particular place in this 3D wavetable. And that's it. To end the video, I'll play a part from my new album that uses this sampled 3D wavetable of my great uncle's violin. I recorded myself singing every harmony like 10 times, and I ran each take through the plugin to get this full string section. It took a long time.